Okay, welcome back to the automated TV. Again, apologize for getting the broadcast late today. Just figuring out some video settings. That's the thing with starting a new channel and OBS and new software. Oftentimes it does screw things up. First of all, thank you for 3 new subscribers. Now we're at 122. We were 119 yesterday. So really awesome things. We're again adding more features, adding more things, adding more overlays. You'll probably see that this video is actually probably close to 4.5K. So we're upping it, playing out, trying different things, adding to the production quality of our videos. So we're improving every single day. So again, thank you, 3 subscribers. We're now at 122. Let's keep the momentum going and let's increase those numbers. I also want to report back that I was hacked yesterday. My Gmail was hacked, so it's rather unfortunate. I spent most of my day trying to diagnose how to do things, right? Did they see where I was? Did they have my screen? How could I get hacked? What else did they have access to? This is rather unfortunate as well that this happened. So yesterday I was dealing with basically just getting new access to software and things just to make sure that it was all good. So rather unfortunate, spend a day to solve everything. Just not the best thing, but it is what it is. So, thank you for all the subscribers for wishing me better recovery on this unfortunate accident. So let's get into it. So yesterday's email was Claude Mythos might be arriving sooner than expected. So while everyone else is obsessing over Google not being able to define words like disregard, stop, and ignore, one UK region quietly handed its entire road network over to an artificial intelligence, and results are making rush hour feel like a breezy 2 a.m. on a Sunday. So the Tease Valley Combined Authority has officially confirmed that its AI-powered digital twin traffic system just slashed delays by up to 50% at busy junctions. It saved local drivers a combined 5,000 hours over a single year just across 6 monitored congestion hotspots. The Tease Valley Mayor, Ben Hoychin, summed up the triumph perfectly. These are real measurable results. The equivalent of more than 6 months of waiting time wiped away. So let's also kind of think about, there was a specific data from individual junctions. Beautiful enough, the A174 Parkway junction on Thornby Street alone shed a massive 2,780 hours. On Norton Road saved 715 hours, and Heartland and York Road and Hartlepool saved 575 and 365 hours respectively. And the entire system is called Fusion, and now watch 57 connected sites and 196 traffic signals. And had invested £2 million to make this a reality. So I think this is absolutely wonderful. This is actually what AI can do, right? I don't know, about £2 million. It sounds a little bit much. Sounds like a center PwC type of contract. Probably not McKinsey that's doing this. But overall, it's probably a little bit on the pricey side, but ultimately this makes sense. And this is what AI can do to improve traffic signals and how to better improve kind of things, right? And safety of all. So we talked about saving time, but we didn't actually talk about saving lives as well. So I think ultimately this is a very, very good thing. And this is, again, what AI can do. In fact, I've heard of other I'm trying to struggle to recall, but I believe other cities have done this as well, where they're using AI to improve the city traffic and city flow. So this is not the first one, but again, it shows what AI can do in the right hands. So let's also talk about Claude Mythos. It just crushed 10,000 bugs before it even launched, and LeetCode says it's coming for all of us soon. So Anthropic, which produces Claude, just released its Project Glasswing, the restricted elite cybersecurity program. It launched back in April, and its ultimate mission was to use advanced AI to hunt down and stop AI-powered cyber attacks, something that I guess ultimately I have to deal with as well. So it's called a Claude Mythos Preview. The receipts are stacking up. In the first month of deployment, Mythos helped a small circle of tech giants discover more than 10,000 high or critical severity vulnerabilities across the world's most systemically important software. So again, let's kind of look through the early data. Claude found 2,000 bugs right out of the gate, with 400 of them rated higher critical severity. Mozilla used Mythos to find and patch 271 Firefox vulnerabilities, sorry. And Microsoft found unusually massive monthly patch releases. It turned the model loose on 1,000 open source projects and flagged a jaw-dropping 6,202 high severity vulnerabilities. So look, I'm going to pause on actually the stats here. So let's see. Okay, so this is pretty interesting, right? This is, I suspect in 22 years on the internet, 30, 40 years on the internet, I've never been hacked before. But the fact that recently I have, I think speaks to some things that basically of AI. The vector space for anybody to being attacked is super, super high. It's not just, it's not just me. It could be anybody. And I think offensively, they're using AI already to attack you. So defensively, I think one needs AI, not just, Google, Microsoft. Everybody needs AI to be able to deal with this particular hack. And so I think it's taking a step back from the obvious traction and interesting stuff. I think this is really critical. I think that it is very, very important. And I definitely think that, and I have a friend that actually working on this. This broadcast I'm going to mention you is working on cybersecurity. And I think personal cybersecurity is super, super important. If my own personal example kind of makes sense, everyone's vector of attack space is much bigger than before. It's much more vulnerable than before. And I think there needs to be something done for personal cybersecurity to prevent those type of attacks. Because look, my Gmail is innocuous. There's probably more spam now. It's acting more like a Yahoo than anything else. There's more spam now than ever before. But it's just years of just accumulation of stuff, right? That's there. And there needs to be something to prevent these attacks for everybody else. So watch the space, and I think that's going to be quite critical and quite needed. Okay, around the AI block, let's react how big tech got in its way. Trump's executive order got its way on Trump's AI executive order. I didn't actually read the article, so let's just see what that means. Again, remember yesterday we said there were two camps, that people wanted more regulation, people wanted less. In fact, let's take a look into that a little bit. The rise in Plex insurgents asked to create AI face. You know what? When you have more and more social media, when you have more and more AI on social media, you can see it with Korean beauty standards, right? In Korea, the beauty standards conform to like one particular type, just because that's how it works. You see that face, you think it's more aesthetically pleasing. And I think it's the same thing with AI face as well. When you see more of it, you want to create that type of AI face. So I don't know, that's not a good thing. The literary world got embarrassingly deceived by AI. We talked about it, right? Google got deceived by AI. I think more and more institutions, industries will be, unfortunately, embarrassed and deceived by AI. DeepSeek permanently reduces the price of its flagship V4 model by 75%. I think the Chinese LLM model is going to be, price cutting, right? So it will be open source. It will be price cutting in order to gain market share vis-a-vis its competitors. Google is currently struggling to define words like disregard, stop, and ignore. I'm going to look into that. Actually, think that's a little bit interesting. People use AI to recreate the voices of pilots killed in a plane crash. Oh my God. I mean, I've seen stuff where like they're recreating voices, and they've got this kind of avatar of loved ones deceased that you can actually always keep. I think that's interesting. I think that's a space to be explored. But whether I want to do it, whether I will do it, I think death is a finality. I think there's nothing wrong with it. And I think there's a poetry to death, right? To the actual human condition of which we are. And so I don't know if I want to be recreated there. I think there's a good kind of thing when it's nice and finally ended, right? And not subject to destruction or permutation in a way that you don't want to be. I don't know. That's an interesting thought. AI washing firms are struggling to rebrand themselves as tech focused. Okay, so let's take a look at AI washing firms. All right. So basically, basically all brands want to be AI businesses, which is kind of interesting. So it's kind of like greenwashing. So it's AI washing. I can understand that. This is the AI hype. So the more the merrier to some degree. Google is currently struggling to define words like disregard, stop, ignore. Let's go back. Because of AI overviews. Because some people don't like AI overviews. And actually, when you use the words disregard, stop, or ignore, AI overviews just kind of creates a lot of blank space. So I think it's just a technicality that AI overview just needs to solve. That's not such a huge deal. How big tech got its way on Trump's AI executive order? It's a check on, okay, so finally, basically, that's right. I guess ultimately big tech really wanted for this executive order to go, and Trump said no. So ultimately, good. It's a check on big tech. I think that's a good thing ultimately. That's not a bad thing to keep checking that. So good on whoever called it. Maybe it is Trump, maybe it was something else, maybe it was just timing, but ultimately a good thing. Training tools. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about the training tools for the PR strategist. We've got Expert Pitch, which is the ultimate AI-powered shortcut for landing media coverage. It monitors journalists' requests 24/7 and sends out personalized pitches on your behalf. This actually sounds pretty interesting. Ultimately, everything else is AI. So this is really, really good. For the truth seekers, iMatch.ai acts as a powerful facial search engine to help you navigate the web safely. Just upload a photo and the AI scans the internet to find out where that face appears. I've actually used something like this before. I don't think it was full AI, but look, it's going to be really important now. For the power collaborators, Sugarbug turns your team's digital footprint into a dynamic knowledge graph by syncing the Slack, GitHub, Figma in your calendar and automatically prepares meeting briefs and status updates before you even have to ask, keeping everyone aligned with the manual overhead. That's pretty cool. For team productivity, sounds great. For the high-scale creatives, Pixcart Enterprise allows you to bake professional creative tools directly into your own applications. APIs handle background removal, upscaling, and AI visual. So this is kind of like that suite with 11 Labs and everything and Sora. Big space to watch out for entertainment. And I really, really like this space generally. AI workout of the day. How to structure a podcast or shows with the help of AI. So you've got a podcast idea brewing, but you're stuck staring at a blank page. How do you use this prompt? So basically, I'm looking at the prompt right now. You're an expert podcast strategist. Help me create detailed outlines for potential podcast show on topic. Yeah, I've used something like this before to create kind of podcasts and podcast themes. I think the thing is, the way I would combine this prompt with something that you're doing is basically feed it with more ideas and what you're good at. So it can propose lots of podcast ideas for you, right? You can propose, I don't know, laptops and mugs and bicycles, but it's actually aligned with your expertise, which is the key on creating podcasts. So what I would suggest in actually taking this prompt is actually taking this prompt and saying, this is my expertise, or these are some of my passions. Actually, more importantly, I think passions are more important when creating a podcast because you're going to be doing this for at least 2 or 3 years before it really takes off. So write what you're passionate about, things you're interested in, you want to talk about. You could talk about it on a camera, just like this, and then create those topics. Don't create topics where just, taking stuff out of the air and saying, hey, can we create a topic and let's see what it feels like. No, create topics around things that you're interested, that you want to explore, because then it'll come out more naturally. As things that you want to talk about and what you're passionate about. So that's what I would suggest on using this particular prompt. It's not just kind of out of the box use this prompt, but reflect it with actually the things that you enjoy anyways. So thank you. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Again, thank you for 3 additional subscribers today, and see you in the next episode tomorrow.